Now it's time to go ahead and implement the member features of being able to view all the scheduled classes and book slots for the same. For that, we need a good amount of data to work with. We need a lot of scheduled classes from multiple users, multiple instructors, and we also later need a lot of members to test other functionalities. You already know how tedious it is to manually sign up instructors and schedule classes. The good news is we can use seeders and factories to populate dummy data for building our app. Let's seed our user database first with some instructors and members. Let's create a seeder using sale artisan, make seeder, user, open this. Within this, we have a run method. In here, we can insert data as we want. If we want to insert users one by one, you can use the query builder like so, db table users, and manually insert each and every user. But this is again a lot of work when we need multiple records. So we can use model factories in combination with seeders. A user factory is already created for us in database factories. Here it is, user factory. Look at the definition here. This definition method is used to specify how to create the dummy data. Laravel uses the PHP library Faker for the same. Faker can generate different types of random data for you like names, unique emails, and even words, addresses, and so on. Once a factory is defined this way, we can use it in our seeders like so. User, factory, count, then create. So when you say count, then create, you will get 10 users using the definition, the factory definition. Let me import the user model before I forget. Alright, this creates 10 random users based on the definition. But in our case, additionally, we need to specify a role for each user. So let's define a default role as member, right here. And then this will create 10 members for us. What if we need 10 instructors? We can just override the role value here as instructor. Now this will give us 10 instructors. Note that every time we refresh the database for some reason, these 10 users are created and every time the users are different. But for us to build features while testing in the browser, we need some fixed user email and password to log in, right? For that reason, let me create some fixed user data as well using user factory count. Let me not specify count because if I don't specify to create only one, create. Now I'll say I want a fixed user with name Shruti and email shruti@example.com. So I'll be able to log in with this member every time I need to check. Let me also create another member. Let's say Taylor. Name is Taylor. I'll create a fixed instructor with name John and john@example.com. Here I also need to specify the role as instructor. And lastly, an admin to log in as admin. And here the role will be admin. Okay, now let's reset our database using sale artisan migrate refresh. Let's see what this does. Oh, sorry, I have a typo. Yes, migrate refresh. And now if you look at table plus, all our data is gone. All the users' data is gone. So let's seed it using our seeder. Right here, here, sale artisan, db seed, and specify the class that you wish to use, user seeder. Seeding is done. Now let me go back and refresh the table. This is wonderful. We have 24 random users, actually 4 fixed users, and the remaining 20 are randomly created using our seeders and factory. Now, this was just one seeder, user seeder. We obviously have multiple seeders to seed the scheduled classes table, the class types, and so on, and we cannot individually call each seeder this way. So what we can do is, we can go to the database seeder, which is right here, created for us, and in the run method, we can call every single seeder that we want to create when at one shot, right? So here I'll say this call and pass in the array of all the seeders. So first we have user seeder, and then let's create some more seeders next. But before that, let me show you how this works. Let's go back here and instead of db seed, let's say sale artisan migrate refresh. So we're resetting the database and seeding it at the same time. We'll be using this quite a lot during our development. So now you can see it's rolling back all the migrations, running the migrations, and seeding the database. If you go back and refresh, you have new set of data, but you still have 24 users. Alright, let's create seeds for class types table and scheduled classes table too. Create sale artisan make seeder class type seeder and sale artisan make seeder schedule class seeder as well. Alright. Oh, there's a small typo. I'm sorry. Class type seeder. Okay, I'll go back and delete this. Alright, open this. Let me delete the typo one. Delete. Okay, so in our class type seeder, we don't want any random data. It's better if we have fixed data like we created like yoga, dance, fitness, so that it makes sense. That is why I will not use a factory for this. I will seed the data manually here, like class type, create, using Eloquent. Let me create 4 different classes. So instead of doing it in table plus, we're doing it here. But the thing is, we can do it just once. And description, you can use Faker for the same. Fake text, so that will give us some fake text. And minutes, let's say 60. Okay, so this will create one class. Let me copy paste it 4 more times and change some things. This is 45 minutes, let's say Pilates, 60 minutes, and boxing for 50 minutes. Okay, this is done. For a scheduled class seeder, where is that? It's here. We will need a factory because we need too many classes. So let's create a factory for this. Sale artisan make factory scheduled class factory. Okay, let's add our definition here. Return instructor ID is one thing we need. And this instructor ID can be a random number within 15 to 24. That's because we're anyway seeding the database the same way, right? Let me open up user seeder. Yeah, since we're first seeding 4 different fixed users and then we're seeding 10 members, that's why the instructors will have IDs anywhere between 15 and 24. Because this is not the best way, but for now, let me go with this. It's a random number between 15 and 24. Then the class type ID is a random number between 1 and 4 because we have only 4 classes. And then comes the date time, which has to be a random one again. Let me use Carbon now. And it has to be any future date and time. So let me add some hours to this. Add hours. anywhere between 24 and 120, so that hopefully we will not get duplicate date time. And here I'll say minutes 0 and seconds also 0, so that it starts at the 0 minute and 0 second. So we get any random hour. Obviously we do get values like 3 a.m. and 12 p.m. when we might not have gym classes, but it's okay to work with. So this gives us a random hour within the next 5 days. Alright, now let's use this factory to schedule 10 classes in our schedule class seeder. Let's say schedule class, factory, count, 10, create. We have both our seeders. Let's not forget to include them here in the database seeder. User class type seeder, class, and then our schedule class seeder. You have to include schedule class seeder after these two, because note that we have foreign keys referencing both these tables here. So this should work. Let's try once. Sale, artisan, migrate, refresh, seed. Let's see if all three tables are seeded. Rolling back migrations, running migrations. Alright, we do have an error. It says unknown column type. I'm so sorry, it was not type. It is supposed to be name. Yeah. Okay, let's try once again. Okay, rolling back, running. Carbon is not found. Again, I have to include it. Where is that? Yeah, it's right here. Yes. Hopefully this time it'll work. Okay, there's a duplicate entry, but I think this occurs very rarely. It just had to occur now. No problem. Let's try one last time. I think there's one more mistake. I cannot add hours like this. I'll have to have a random function within this. So yeah, and now this should work. Clear. Rolling back migrations, running migrations. Great. All three seeders have run successfully. Let me check in table class. Close users, schedule classes, refresh, and we have 10 classes scheduled. We have 4 class types as well. Perfect. Now we can continue building all our features.